888-348-1007.
$35192. I want to send me a text. Cavs are off tonight. They were here at home last night, lost by a few to the Knicks. 107-98 was the final there. They will get another crack at Boston tomorrow night. Celtics here at the Romo Fijo tomorrow night. 7:30 is your tip-off, so 7 o'clock. We'll begin your pregame coverage here on MMS. And you can also listen on the iHeartRadio app. I was reading about Caitlin Clark, who has been a real phenom there at Iowa. She just broke the all-time scoring record in the NCAA. Not women's basketball, the all-time NCAA scoring record. Pete Maravich held it for 5 decades, and Caitlin Clark broke it. You watching Caitlin Clark at all? I mean, she
I've
pops
seen
up
the
a lot
updates and
because
stuff like that. So, I saw that she did this, and it's really outstanding.
it's pretty wild. Yeah, she has massive hands, which has to have helped her quite a bit. Obviously, she's an amazingly talented athlete, but she also has some real big mitts, and that can't hurt. And she has opted out of her 5th year of eligibility at Iowa and has announced that she will go into the WNBA draft. And the Indiana Fever are the team that's going to be picking first. And so everyone assumes that they will pick her. And so as a result, their ticket sales have already gone through the roof. I used to work for the Chicago Sky before I came to Cleveland. And, again, that was quite some time ago. I'd be curious to see what kind of draw the WNBA is now. For the first many years of the WNBA, they were still subsidized by the NBA. And so, but now they've grown into their own thing, and it's a much bigger deal than it used to be. But the Indiana Fever is the WNBA team out of Indianapolis. And they have pretty much all but said that they will grab Caitlin Clark with the number 1 pick. I don't even think that it's
that's
a question. I don't think it's a secret or anything. They're picking first, and you're going to grab her. And coming from Iowa, it's not. I don't know where she's from originally, but it's not like there's going to be a ton of culture shock. And that for those of you who are checking the days off your calendar, of course, the WNBA draft is April 15th. I don't know where it is, but I know when it is, and that's April 15th. So pretty impressive for her. Again, I don't know when everybody started. It seems like everybody started paying attention to her all at once over like the past season. But obviously,
people have been paying attention to her for like at least the past 2 seasons because I've heard of her before this year.
Yeah, did she just get real good halfway through college, or
no? She's been good the whole time, but now that
I would
she's
certainly
setting
think
records,
so. Yeah, okay.
But it's also it's women's college basketball. It's not like that's the top of everyone's minds when it comes to the sports world, but she definitely has made a name for herself because she's been so prolific at scoring over these past 4 seasons.
Okay. I mean, I would have assumed, but I just feel like I started seeing nonstop clips of her within the past year.
Because she just started setting all these records and stuff, yeah.
Another thing I thought was interesting, and I don't know how this would have crossed my plate, but I just thought it was weird. Not even weird, just I'm not paying attention to these things. You know who Millie Bobby Brown is?
Yeah.
He was married to Whitney Houston.
No.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Oh, then no, I don't know who that
I think I have that right.
No. Millie Bobby Brown is from Stranger Things.
Oh, well, this makes a lot more.
She's getting DMs from Drake when she was 17 or 16 or something.
Yeah. She is marrying John Bon Jovi's son.
Oh.
She's going to be John Bon Jovi's daughter-in-law. She's still really young. She's like 19 years old, I think. Right? Millie Bobby Brown, she was a little kid on Stranger Things. She's all grown up. She was the one that everybody was paying attention to. That first season of Stranger Things, when that show just went nuclear, she was kind of the main character. Her head was shaved. She was all those. They were little kids. That first season. Now they all grew up. They're all gangly, and But she is engaged to Jake Bon Jovi, who is a model, I guess. I don't know what he does. I assume he's an actor or a model. I mean, how else would they have crossed paths? But Millie Bobby Brown's father-in-law is going to be John Bon Jovi.
Wait. All right. So I am seeing these articles.
Mm-hmm. Did I get it wrong?
Well, it's Bong. Is that how his real name is spelled?
Oh, yeah. Bon Jovi is the actual spelling of the name. Yeah.
Okay.
He changed it for the band to make it look cool.
So
Yeah.
I've always seen it for the band.
Right.
And thought that's what it was.
It's pronounced Bon Jovi, but he
Jovi.
changed the
Yeah,
spelling.
okay.
Yeah. It's
All
Bon
right.
Jovi is the family name. Yeah. Yeah. And, of course, John Bon Jovi, he and his wife have famously been married for a long time. I mean, they were married before Bon Jovi was even a hit band.
Well, maybe this will work out then. Maybe they got it in their blood to be faithful and good husbands.
Maybe so. That Millie Bobby Brown, though, that's a wild story with her, too. I mean, she's obviously British. She's deaf in her left ear. She had some condition or something where she was losing hearing in her left ear, and then she went fully deaf. So this is a girl who was like born, I've seen her on chat shows and stuff. She was born in Spain, her parents moved the family to England when she was 4, because that's where they're from. And then I don't know if it was because of her, was she wanted to act or perform or something, but she grew up in Orlando. So he lived in England for a few years, and then the family moves to Orlando, which is where, so I don't know if she was.
The Duffer Brothers talked about, they're the ones that created Stranger Things.
Yeah.
They did some of the most extensive casting to find the kids for the show. So if she wanted to be a performer, I think it just happened to be that they were in Orlando because they
cast the show out of Orlando?
No, they cast the show out of the entire country because they were looking for specific kids that will fit those roles well.
Wow.
So it's not like they were just doing a casting call in LA.
Yeah.
They scoured all the different
The nation.
places. Yeah, the nation, probably the world, to find these different kids.
That is wild, too. I mean, you have hit the goddamn lottery and obviously nobody knows if a project is going to be successful. But when they do one of those, just cast this crazy wide net for, when they were looking to cast Harry Potter, they're like, we saw thousands of kids before we saw Dan Radcliffe. And he was the kid. They were like, this is the kid. But you've beaten out thousands and thousands. For what? You just were the right person? You had the right look? It's not like that he's that much better of an actor than thousands of other kids. You had the winning ticket. It's crazy. And then you hope you can keep it going. And you're not a flash in the pan. And obviously those Harry Potter, they obviously had a little bit of a leg up with Harry Potter movies because those books were so crazy popular. But Stranger Things, they didn't know that was going to be what it was. All those kids got lucky. And then some of the other ones end up in them Ghostbusters movies. But it's not like Millie Bobby Brown, for being kind of the breakout of that show. It's not like she's had some unbelievably amazing movie career. She's done stuff. She works consistently. But, and I think she put an album out or something. I don't know.
Also, I think they have only a finite amount of time that they can go and do other projects while they're still working on Stranger Things. And I think for this last season, I think they wanted all the different kids to be out of the public eye a little bit so that everybody's waiting for this final season.
People didn't get sick of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. I think they should have quit. I mean, I thought that this last Stranger Things season was the last season. Mm-hmm. And boy, did they really drag it out. I mean, I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, that's done. Because they really, really
Well, they split it into 2 parts. And
Yeah, they dragged it out.
I liked it, though. I thought the last season was one of the best.
With a girl that's fighting the skeleton guy the whole time, and they're trying to get her out, and right?
I thought it was great.
They were in Russia, and yeah. I think it would have been cool
the
to
kids
end.
getting like elevated in there, and they're like their necks are breaking and stuff. In the Metallica scene.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Been a fun show. I like that show a lot.
That kid that kid who was the Metallica guy. He's the Human Torch.
Four, yeah.
Yeah. People don't recognize him without the long hair, without that heavy metal wig. Voicemails over the weekend on the After Hours line. You can always leave them there for us. Number's 216-986-8903.
Alan, Trucker John, King of I-71. Starting my work week, listening to Friday's podcast. You guys are talking about David Caruso. Forgetting he was in one of the best movies in the late 80s, early 90s, King of New York.
Oh, that's it. Okay. King of I-70, right. King of, we were talking about David Caruso last week.
I'm the King of New York.
You're the Queen of New York.
Nope.
Yeah. Boy, I just watched that too. You're so right, John. Thank you.
What is that? I never even.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite early.
That song. I'm the King of New York.
Maybe
it's a song from the Newsies movie.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's a perfect snapshot of a whole lot of actors who were ready to get big. Okay, it's a movie called King of New York. There was this director named Abel Ferrara who did a lot of these like really heavy-duty, grimy movies. He did Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel. He did The Addiction with Lily Taylor. And he did this movie called King of New York. I don't even know how well it did, but it came out probably 89 or 90. And it was about a guy who was this huge New York gangster. Not like a mafia guy, but a guy who ran a crew, and the movie starts with him getting out of prison. And so all of these people in his orbit show back up. And so, like, yeah, Caruso is one of the cops that's still trying to get him. Wesley Snipes, before anybody really knew who he was. Lawrence Fishburne. Christopher Walken is the main guy. He's Frank White. He's the King of New York. He's this big crime figure. Everybody knows who he is. He walks into a restaurant. He's got hot chicks around him. Limo picks him up from prison. But it's got all these actors in it that would go on to be like a big deal. Giancarlo Esposito's in it, and Steve Buscemi's in it before people knew who he was. And, God, I love that. I just watched it not long ago. I forgot that David Caruso was in that. Good movie. Yeah, called King of New York. Fun movie. It's, it's under 2 hours. It's got violence. It's got sex.
Nice.
It's got drugs. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Christopher Walken's a weird-looking guy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And that voice. Is that why he's like, is he a good actor? I feel like he's always
I think he's a great actor.
He's always playing Christopher Walken.
Is he a great actor, or is he just Christopher Walken?
That's what I mean.
I don't know.
Did he have
No.
a career because he's so unique? Is that why he has a career?
I think so, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, he did a Stephen King movie called The Dead Zone. And God damn, that was one of my favorite movies growing up was The Dead Zone. We had it on a VHS, and I used to watch it all the time because he was so weird in it. I mean, he's got a strange look. So just from the jump, and he was a dancer before he was an actor. So he just kind of has this, his movements are very fluid. And, he was in I think he's the guy who loses Russian roulette in The Deer Hunter, right? Back in the day.
Never seen it.
Oh, I love Christopher Walken. Because he got the sunken eyes, like even as a young actor, he just
that
had
movie's from 1978, Alan.
What movie?
Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
It's a very popular movie.
I mean,
it?
you can go back and watch it. Yeah, I know it wasn't out when you were alive, but, I was 7 when it was out, but I've seen it. But yeah, Christopher Walken, he's just got it. Anytime he would do SNL, he was funny because he would just kind of play off just his weird kind of cadence. And, he was part of that whole Natalie Wood thing. Remember where they were investigating Natalie Wood falling off that boat? Christopher Walken was on that boat. And so they questioned him about it and Robert Wagner and the whole thing. Somebody started, I remember maybe 20 years ago, somebody started a website saying that he was going to be running for president. And so everybody was bombarding him with questions. He's like, I don't know where this is coming from. I didn't do this. He's in the new Dune. He's in part 2 of Dune.
Which
I'm going to see that tonight.
Are you going tonight?
Yeah, I'm going tonight.
Yeah.
Didn't they say it already made like $81 million
Oh, yeah.
or something like that?
It's getting like universally good reviews.
But I thought the first one sucked. Like I couldn't sit through it, and I like Timothée Chalamet and I like Zendaya.
I don't know that movie's for you. Why did you go see the first part of Dune? It's a two-parter.
I did not see it in a theater. I saw it. It was streaming on some platform. I don't know. I don't remember which one.
It was on Max for a while. Now it's on Hulu.
That's what it was. It was Max because I was watching it. My roommate had an account, so I was watching it on his account. But I like started it, and I swear I watched it for maybe 45 minutes. I was like, this is really boring.
Yeah, I don't know if that's for you.
But I don't know why it wouldn't be. Like
because
it's
good
costumes, actors I knew. Like
yeah, but Dune's one of those sci-fi movies you got to really be into it. Like people read the book or they saw the original one 40 years ago, and
yeah, no, it was.
I don't know that that's a movie that people casually watch.
Yeah, it was slow. But what lured me in is I was like, oh, Timothée Chalamet. I know him from the Peach movie, the Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, and I was like Zendaya.
Wonka.
Yeah, well,
That
I don't
just
think
came out.
I don't think they should have cast him in that. I think they should have got the guy from Jeremy Allen White. He looks way more like Willy Wonka.
Well, because he looks like Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you didn't like Dune. I mean, it's long, and you have to be into the story.
He was not into the story at all.
I'm really excited to see the second part.
Like all that sand, like they itchy. Like they're itchy. We're in the hot sun, in those.
You mean making the movie?
Yes, but like in those costumes and the wind just blowing and the sand is ever. Oh, they're itchy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I can't like that was a distraction for me. I'm like, you just gonna walk off.
But they live on a desert planet. All you could think of was that they were itchy in the shorts.
Yes, because they got to walk all cool and like fight and stuff. I'm like, ooh, the chafing is insane.
The first Dune came out when HBO Max was doing the simultaneous releases, so it didn't have a huge box office like this one.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, it came out.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I did too.
It was when they were doing that. I think it was 2021 when they did a bunch of movies where they came out on because all theaters weren't open yet.
I didn't remember that.
It's just insane, like the star power they have in the first one. They had Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, they had Jason Momoa, Austin Butler. Like
I think Oscar Isaac is like the only one not back for the second part.
Well, it's because he's dead.
The Skarsgård.
Yeah, but there's a handful of people you thought died in the first part, and they're coming back.
Probably
Skarsgård.
It's probably for flashback sequences.
Oh. Well, anyway.
No, I'm excited to see it.
Lame.
Some people still like the David Lynch one better. Which
man, that David Lynch one is rough.
Well,
you
gotta really, really be. I mean, gotta be into it. Got to take a break here. You want to get the last word in? Send me a text 35192, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device you have.
Just tell me to play the Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.
Our 2024 iHeartRadio Music Awards coming back to Fox on Monday, April 1st. Honoring the songs and artists you loved on iHeartRadio over the past year and giving you an exclusive first look at the biggest new songs coming in